Hey Ness, it's your dad, Triforce Dad 1984. And a couple of days ago on stream, we did something that we've never done before. We critiqued somebody else's logo. Now, we talk about design a lot on the Triforce Dad channel on Twitch, twitch.tv/Triforce Dad 1984. And so I thought it'd be really interesting. There was a new hockey team that was announced for the city of Seattle, and we took a critical but honest look at what their new logo design entailed. Primary marks, secondary marks, colors, orchestration, beveling, you name it, we talked about it, including a little tip that drove some people kind of crazy once I pointed it out. So enjoy, and if you're kind enough, please check us out on Twitch. Every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, regularly, we are on playing games and designing and talking about design. So it's twitch.tv/TriforceDad1984. Thanks. This is the primary mark, and so I'm gonna start here, but I'm gonna give you my critique based on some other information that I found. So this, I think, is the most important thing that we can talk about. And hopefully you guys can see this nice and big. I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I just want to make sure everything looks good. It does. Great. So this is part of the information that was sent out earlier this week when the Seattle Kraken announced its name, its identity, its logo, the whole 9 yards. If you guys can't read it, I'll read it out for you. So the shape of our history. Our history in the Great Ice Game goes as deep as the Puget Sound. The Seattle Metropolitans were the first American club to hoist the Stanley Cup. They are an eternal part of our city's history, and we pay tribute to them by wearing the S. We will aspire to bring the cup back to Seattle in their honor. Okay, fine. I like knowing where the logo comes from, which is why I'm sharing this with you. Carved from the sea. Seattle is a city built by the sea. Our forebears' hands cracked in the cold, salty air as they reeled in their lines and wrought their ships. The clean bevel of a freshly carved vessel is a reminder of where we come from. A noble city built on the water by bold and hardened adventurers. Okay, so that explains our beveled edge. That explains our S. The eye of the beast. And this is misleading. Maybe this is a poor color choice because until I looked at other media, I thought this white dot was like the reverse of a pupil. So, but it's just red. There's no white dot. So keep that in mind. The eye of the beast, if you've seen it, it's already too late. The eye of the Kraken has been affixed on its prey for some time. Its strike will be swift and devastating, its opposition overwhelmed and unwary. That's a sentence fragment. It will all be over soon. And then hidden in the shadows, a single tentacle stealthily rises from below, symbolizing the deep dark waters of Puget Sound. How many are there? How deep do they go? The real peril lies in what you don't see. Okay, so we have the rationale behind the logo. Not a fan of this S as a primary mark. First of all, big fan personally and professionally of navy bounced with red. I think it's a great color combination. I think it works really well in a lot of instances. I have used it in an athletic logo redesign, and to the point, successfully to the point where the college that it was used for, the students there have since taken on red as a primary part of their like warm-up wardrobe and stuff like that. It really became a rally cry for students there. But the S as a primary logo, I think, is weak. It could be anything. There's a lot happening, but I don't think it's all happening really well. The red is great. The red is a great pop. It's a great kind of mischievous eye. I like the design of the eye. The S itself is sharp, but I hated it as a primary. I hate it as a primary mark. Then you have these beveled edges, right? Carved in the cold and steel hard ships. If you're going for a bevel, for me, the contrast isn't great enough. I would have made the light blue even lighter or moved this mid-tone down. It's not contrasted enough to mimic the hard beveled edge that you're talking about trying to achieve. I like this hidden little tentacle. Where are they? How many? Where do they come from? Nobody knows. I feel like the suction cups could be a little more pronounced. These are obviously some kind of octopi tentacles. There's a great reveal video, which I didn't pull because I didn't feel right just kind of kifing that. But there's a great reveal video where the tentacle curves up the S as if it's climbing up these beveled ship edges. That's neat. That looks good, and it calls attention to it. As a standalone item, it's missing a little for me. This is a great part of a logo suite. Bad primary mark. One of the second things that I had seen when this had gone out was this right here. So this is what I'm going to assume is the primary word mark for the Seattle Kraken. The contrast on the beveling, not strong enough for me, for my taste personally. I would have designed it differently. I feel like this is for a microbrewery. Like, this doesn't feel like a hockey team for me. And granted, I just looked through sportslogos.net before I got on here. And listen, Seattle and NHL, I'm sorry, but Seattle, you're in great company of a bunch of bad logos. Logos that I don't like. And it's not because I don't like hockey, it's because I don't like the design of them. Listen, I'm probably going to take heat for this because I'm in Pennsylvania, but like the Pittsburgh Penguins logo looks like my 11-year-old could have drawn it. Clean it up. I get it, it's iconic, but like refresh your branding, it's time. This looks like a beer label to me. Kraken feels like the brew house that would put out a beer specific to the Seattle hockey team. It doesn't feel right. So I think there's a missed mark on the... It screams refreshing. It doesn't scream terror, though, which is what a Kraken should do. Other people have had issues with the fact that they are called the Kraken in the first place, given where the legend of the Kraken originated. Yes, Palmer talked to me about that. So the Kraken, I guess, is off the coast of Norway, not off the Pacific coast of the United States. Geography lesson, right? Also, I saw a really funny thing where somebody went in and Norse mythos. There we go. And like terrifying Norse mythos, like Ship Eater we're talking about here. This doesn't make me terrified. And also somebody had already taken it and moved the letters around and made it the Seattle Karen, which is far more terrifying in this day and age. And this drove me nuts once I realized it. I can't unsee it. There's two different T's in Seattle, okay? And because I have to see it, you have to see it. The T in the middle of Seattle has an angle on it, and the T next to it doesn't. Pick one and stick with it. The E's are the same. The T's should be the same. Consistency in your branding is key. This is what goes through a designer's head when they look into all these other projects, right? So you have to understand why I have a problem with it, all right? Word mark, just bad. Bad. Oh, good. I wanted to talk about this. So this is a hockey mock-up. It was apparently done by Aesthetics. So these, on the left-hand side, are the home jerseys, so with a full navy. And on the right-hand side are the road jerseys, which are the white with heavy accents. So here's why I really dislike the S as a primary mark. And it's mainly because I think this anchor with the Space Needle tied into it is a better primary mark for this team. Okay, there are other... I looked through... Can we zoom in on the anchor? Of course we can. So it's a little dodgy, and I apologize. And this is better because it's better. I like this one better because it's higher contrast. This is what I'm talking about with those beveled edges. I would even take that light blue and swap it with this aqua. I think this anchor with the Space Needle tied into the top for Seattle is a better primary mark. And that's one of the primary reasons why I don't like this logo design so much. Switch them, I'd be happy. You know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see a tentacle wrapped up that Space Needle. I think that would be really cool. And then you've got all of your elements, right? Now, if it were me, and I didn't have the time to mock it up, right? But what I would have done is I would have almost taken like a squid head and worked it into the Space Needle and done a skyline with like the tentacles coming out as this ominous shadow. You could pop the two red eyes and do Kraken. That would have been me as a primary mark. You might have hated that. I say that the anchor would be a better primary mark. And then right before I got on, I had seen... Hold on, I have to see where it is. So this was on Reddit, posted by user seaside_suicide. The guy went out, okay? I'm just gonna put this up here for a second so everybody can appreciate it. The day the team was announced, the guy went out and got this. And it's better than what the designer put together. The combination of the two logos, I like better than the S, at least by itself. I love the Space Needle anchor. But the guy went out this day, got it done, wrapped the tentacle around the thing. And I thought it should have the tentacle wrapped before I saw this. And then I saw it and I was like, yeah, I'm right. I think that's a better combination, and it's something that a fan got done that day. Props to you and your tattoo artist for not only good design combination, but quick work, right? Whoever you are, Godspeed. If you can, Euro's talking about this newspaper. Kraken, Sockeyes, NHL Seattle team name to be, I'm guessing that's revealed. Designer straight up used the S. Yeah. And it's, oh, you're talking about the Seattle S. It's very similar, Uriel, now that you're talking about it. So he's talking about this S right here. So I'm not going to pick on the designer for using a good S. I mean, he would have found it anywhere. But also, this S doesn't even fit in with their word mark art. So it drives me crazy on a consistency base. The logo project that I was talking about earlier, where I did combine navy with red successfully, there are two different font phases. There's one for, and it was a college athletics team. So there's a font for the college, right? And then we introduced a new font for the athletic logo. That's okay, but this is one thing. This isn't a piece of an organization. It's just the whole organization. So, yeah. So the Seattle font, it's very similar. And you know what, Uriel, I'm going to say this. There's a better bevel on that Seattle, and it's only 1 bit high contrast color difference. I'm just going to put that out there. So that's where I'm at with this whole thing. But, like I said before, Seattle now joins a host of other really bad NHL logos. Right? Some in our own state. Wherever you might be, there's probably a bad hockey logo or a state over based on the location of hockey teams.